But first, we have some breaking news to tell you about. Police are in pursuit of a theft suspect.
You can see those high speeds. Desmond Shaw live in SkyCal with more on this, Des.
That's a U-Haul.
Jasmine and Juan, wow, we have got a pursuit here, 70 miles an hour with a U-Haul with out-of-state plates. Apparently, that we're hearing this is Los Alamitos PD. You can see them here coming through that intersection. You're making a really wide turn. Oh, almost hitting the divider right there as they make the southbound turn. But it was apparently just petty theft. It's Los Alamitos PD that is in pursuit. Don't think I've ever covered a pursuit with one of this small agency here. CHP has their helicopter overhead assisting on this one. Obviously, failure to yield in the mix as well. Unclear what was taken at this point, but this person driving like a total maniac right now. And, you know, driving this top-heavy box truck here, this U-Haul, very, very dangerous here as we're also getting into afternoon rush hour on the border of LA and Orange County, guys.
This is really wild, Desmond. I mean, anybody who's rented one of these U-Hauls know that there is a bit of a learning curve, learning how to manipulate this thing, stopping and starting it.
You can't see out the back.
You can't see out the back. It's very, very dangerous. Now, Mike Rogers also at the desk. You're following what's going on here. Look at this, Mike. Really crazy here in traffic. What information do you have for us?
Right, so this is Los Alamitos, and the crime that the CHP, who's kind of been helping us out with some information here, they're calling it as a 484 suspect. And as Desmond mentioned, 44 is...
No.
So many close calls.
Wow.
And you're right.
Whoa.
And that top heavy as it almost goes up on those two wheels.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're calling this a 484 suspect, which is petty theft.
Okay.
So was it the items in the U-Haul? Have they stolen whatever they were putting in the U-Haul? Is this a theft from a store? We don't know any of those details. Out-of-state plates, of course, because it's a U-Haul. That means you have probably really no idea who's inside. Now, in theory, you could probably call U-Haul and figure out who rented it. That doesn't necessarily mean that's the person that's driving it. But there's not going to be a lot to go on. As Desmond mentioned, you can't see behind them, so the officer...
Oh, God, he hit someone.
Oh, a little collision right there.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, a little bit of paint being traded there. Valley View and Catella on that one here as we get behind this tall vehicle. Very unfortunate there. Fortunately, though, they slammed on the brakes and was going to be pretty minor. I think the people in that vehicle should be okay, probably shaken up, but this could go very badly, very quickly. 60, 70 miles an hour here as we get into rush hour. You can see all the heavy traffic out here. Valley View, a very major street. And the way they're kind of slamming on the gas pedal, slamming on the brakes, I mean, could really overheat the brakes quickly on a vehicle this big. So we'll just have to see how this vehicle performs. But no doubt this is a very, very dangerous one with this kind of driving and driving like that with this kind of vehicle. And
that's what's really scary here, too, right? If there's not a lot of weight in the back of that truck, any quick movement, any fast turn could possibly have this, this truck tip over there. Desmond, can you see if there's one or two people in there?
That's what I'm trying to get a look
at
here,
like
but
two.
There's so much kind of stuff. Yeah, possibly two there. Getting a pretty good look at the driver, though, now as we're on Cerritos Avenue. And look at those speeds right there. 75 miles an hour, just so crazy. And, you know, not just a big vehicle, but a wide vehicle as well. I mean, very easy to misjudge a vehicle like this. And you saw how precarious that turn was when they tried to take it. So this is, there's just so many factors going on with this pursuit right now. 70 miles an hour, just ridiculous.
Petty theft is what, $950 more or less and under, right?
Yeah, let me pull up the penal. Let me pull up the penal code here, but I believe.
So it can't be the truck. It must be there's something inside.
Yeah, right. Because if it was the truck, they would call it a stolen vehicle.
So I'm trying.
Grand theft, right?
And this driver is like white knuckling the steering wheel. He had both hands on it, and I saw some movement on the passenger side as you see this U-Haul flying down into the Santa Ana Garden Grove area. Although, is it Los Alamitos, you said, PD, still following this? So, and there was a lot of junk, as Desmond just said, in the front of the window. Just looked like a bunch of toys or papers and little, he's just flying.
Wow.
Yeah.
So far, we don't know whether the truck was stolen, right, Mike or Des? We don't know about that.
We've not heard that. So far, they're only calling on that 44 suspect, which is petty theft, larceny. I can tell you one of my colleagues is on the phone with Los Alamitos PD right now, so hopefully we'll get some more information. But 70 miles an hour on surface streets, and this U-Haul, even crossing over the yellow line there, it's just incredibly dangerous.
Anybody watching this pursuit who's ever rented a U-Haul knows, again, how difficult it is to control these trucks, difficult to turn. Jasmine was mentioning you can't see out the back, and you're really reliant on those two side view mirrors and your view, right? Your forward view. So very, very dangerous. 75 miles an hour here in Garden Grove. It looks like they're on Knott Street and Chapman Avenue, and there's a lot of traffic out there today. still, and he should be approaching an intersection here. Let's see what he tries to do.
He's just going to fly right through.
Just flying right through and making a
west.
right-hand turn. Doing a good job at so far keeping this truck in play here, but so dangerous. So we're hoping that this driver is going to pull over at some point, but it doesn't look, Jasmine, that this is going to
No, and Desmond,
happen.
I guess when you first picked up this chase, this was already in full swing by the time you got overhead?
Yes, we were, as we heard about this, just as CHP was getting their helicopter overhead on this, it sounds like they are hearing, I think my pilot, Mike, doing a great job keeping up with this, heard the helicopter overhead, believing that there are 2 people.
All right, you cut out just for a second, Des. Let's see if your mic pops back in. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Des.
We believe that that there's 2 people in the vehicle here. My pilot, Mike, I believe, just heard that with CHP's helicopter. But you just wonder how much more of this vehicle can take driving like this. I mean, you could lose a tire very easily here, making turns like this fast. You just see how precarious this is. One minor miscalculation of this thing is going to tip over, you know. And you mentioned the really bad visibility with this vehicle. So many factors, but just going pedal to the metal with this U-Haul right now. We've been consistently over 60 or 70 miles an hour, but regardless, we still saw Los Alamitos with their units not far behind. Look, they're right there with this one. So despite all of the crazy driving, there's CHP's helicopter on this one as well. And here we can see if we can try to zoom in. And
he has the door open. It looks like
there is. Oh, the window.
Or the window or something.
Got the window open.
Okay.
And, so definitely 2 in the vehicle here. Yeah, we can confirm that 2 in the vehicle here. So. You know, I feel like an agency like LAPD or LA County Sheriffs would have probably called this one off already. But sometimes when you're dealing with these smaller agencies, they tend to be a lot more aggressive. They do not take kindly to driving like this through their jurisdiction. And so so far anyway, despite the danger, Los Alamitos is sticking with this pursuit.
Now, what's so interesting about this petty theft, right? Why would you be adding so many more charges to your rap sheet here, right?
See if we can get behind it, Mike.
Yeah, and Juan, I'll jump in here.
Yeah.
Petty theft, as we talked about, is the theft of property, not necessarily the theft of the U-Haul. Petty theft generally is a misdemeanor, depending on what exactly you've stolen. So likely that there is something else going on here. That once they get a hold of U-Haul, it could be turned out that this U-Haul is stolen as well. That's all stuff they'll have to circle back with. But I'm kind of monitoring the progress of where this pursuit has gone as we just blow through these intersections at high speeds. This started in Los Alamitos. It's Los Alamitos that's behind them, but they actually popped up into the LA County area for a second, kind of in the Lakewood, Hawaiian Gardens area, and then came back south through Cypress and now back into Los Alamitos as we actually even further south down into Seal Beach, which we're also on the phone with Seal Beach PD because we've heard that they may be involved in this as well. The one thing about Orange County, when you get into chases with Orange County, Los Alamitos, yes, is a small agency, but all those other agencies will jump in. They will be on this pursuit. We have seen that before. You could have 3 or 4 different agencies from Orange County all be involved in this chase. That way they don't leave Los Alamitos, which is a smaller department, kind of out to dry. So now that we're even deeper into Orange County, I wouldn't be surprised that once this is over that we see more agencies that are involved in this besides just Los Alamitos.
Mike, is it Orange County or Riverside that are a little more aggressive when it comes to pursuits?
Both.
Or is it both?
It's both. It's really everybody but LA County. LA County is the ones that are a little bit more conservative. I would say Ventura is probably second, but Orange County, they'll chase you for a while. You got the CHP helicopter overhead, San Bernardino, Riverside, those guys will chase too. So, I mean, and just as Desmond was mentioning, a petty theft suspect in LA, I doubt that this would still be going on.
Well, we had a chase this morning at 9:30 with LAPD, and they backed off out of South LA. It was 9:30 this morning, and it was a stolen vehicle. He was going or whoever was driving, going way too fast. They pulled back.
So
they lost the suspect.
These property crimes are much less likely to be chased, especially when you've got somebody in this basically 75-mile-an-hour bullet on surface streets. I don't believe that the LA agencies would chase this, but in Orange County they are.
And now they're on Westminster Avenue in Bolsa Chica.
North Coast.
You can see traffic is pretty much a lot lighter there, Mike.
Yeah, we're coming back westbound. So to the south of us is a Seal Beach Naval Weapons Station. So we're coming west. And if he stays on this road, eventually we'll cross back into LA County and we'll be in the Long Beach area.
And I mean, we're talking again about this U-Haul. The maximum recommended speed, 55 miles per hour. They say do not exceed that speed limit. You need to drive defensively. If you hit the brakes early, you hit it very early because you're going to slam into the back of someone with something this heavy of a vehicle. And even going downhill, I can't imagine if we hit any of those downhill speeds.
I've rented U-Hauls before to do small moves, and I tell you, I white knuckle it on the freeway. Because it's just scary. You're not used to driving it, and you are going below the speed limit. And you're making sure, every move you make is very calculated because it's not a vehicle that you're used to driving here. So.
And the way this guy is just blowing through these intersections, not even tapping the brakes to slow down at these high speeds, is just, you worry that something terrible is going to happen.
Well, and I've covered a lot of stories where people live out of their RVs, their U-Hauls, and so we don't know. Again, we go back to that petty theft, something under 1,000. What happened? Is this his or her? The two people, is this where they were living?
Right.
What happened that caused the police initially to follow them?
Yeah. Do we know that, Mike? What was the initial, how did they know that this was a petty theft suspect?
Right. So we don't. So that's where we're trying to get those answers from Los Alamitos PD, who has initiated this chase. Part of the issue is also the fact that we can't hear Orange County law enforcement. They're encrypted radios, so we can't really tell what started this. I would say petty theft, though. Petty theft is not generally something that you run a license plate and, oh, this is a petty theft suspect. That's usually somebody reported it. Somebody said, hey, those guys did this. It's generally that kind of thing. When we see you'd running license plates, that usually has more to do with stolen vehicles, even homicide suspects. But again, this is a U-Haul, so that U-Haul's not going to come back to anybody specific. So my guess would be this was a reported crime, and they said, hey, this person was driving this car, they stole this, and here's what we have. Right through that intersection, and it looks like Des was getting...
another car. He hit that car.
So that's at least two now vehicles he's clipped. We hear Des talking in SkyCal following this, and you're doing a great job keeping up with this high-speed chase. Des?
Desmond, did he hit that car?
Yeah, it sure looked like it there. That tree kind of got in the way there, and we were a little far off just because dealing with Long Beach's airspace right now, which is unusually hectic at the moment. But look at the desperation right here, just swerving all over the place. We've seen him, thread the needle between a couple of cars at 50 or more miles an hour right now. And, back there, we're getting back into a pretty populated area. We were over the Bolsa Chica wetlands, but now we're making our way back into the Long Beach area. And let's see. He's going to
on the curb
behind the Whole Foods. We'll try to go to the other side here. Back around. He turned back around. Yeah, headed back to the east, back towards kind of Bolsa Chica. So just as we were getting back into LA County, now turning back around into Orange County. So at least if they stick on this, we're going to go back into kind of depopulated areas. I widen out and show you what we're dealing with now here between the Naval Base and Bolsa Chica.
Yeah, not
too many intersections. So. Yeah, so maybe we can get kind of a little bit of a breather if they continue out and they decided, just as I said that, to make another U-turn here. So what's going on?
Just circling.
And, the more high-speed turns that they make like this with this top-heavy vehicle, the more likely this suspect is to lose a tire or something like that. Frankly, kind of what we would be hoping for at this point to try to disable this vehicle.
And
the way that they're driving so erratically and so fast, I don't think we're going to have an opportunity for a spike strip. Obviously, pit maneuver is out of the question because of the nature of this vehicle. So this is a real tough one here, straddling Orange County and LA County.
It seems like it's getting more and more desperate here. You can just see what's going on. He's done 2 U-turns so far. He's getting back into heavier traffic, not knowing what's going on here. Mike, I had a question for you. Do you know if law enforcement, do they pit vans like this?
No,
Can you pit a van?
I wouldn't think so. It's too top heavy. You run the risk, if you pit that thing, you run the risk of it just tumbling over and rolling over on its side or hurting the people that are inside, hurting other drivers. I also want to give you some new information. My colleague Angelina on the desk just talked to Lakewood Sheriff's Station, the LASD Lakewood Station, because it briefly went through there. They say that they were told this was started by Seal Beach PD and that in fact the U-Haul is also stolen. So we're now hearing, in addition to this petty theft, so the petty theft maybe for whatever is inside of it, but in addition to, we're now hearing that this was stolen. So again, that elevates the crime a little bit, to make Orange County stick with it a little bit longer. And now we're heading kind of deeper into the Long Beach area, the Belmont Shore, Naples area of Long Beach, and we're getting more populated back into the LA County area.
Belmont Shore for sure, Long Beach. I've been there many times. That area is definitely, the streets are a little more narrower, a lot more concentration of of homes and buildings. And you know what, Mike? I couldn't help but wonder. The truck is stolen. There's some petty theft allegations here. You know, could this be part of a theft ring?
Well, I thought that earlier too, Juan. You know, we've seen these guys that are getting a little bit more creative on how they're stealing things, and we're starting to see thefts that are not even from necessarily stores, right? This could be one of these thefts from distribution centers, and that's why they wanted the bigger vehicle to be able to load more stuff into it. It's really hard to tell. And here's those narrow streets. One-way narrow street right here.
Oof, oof.
Just going down the alley. I heard Des saying that, yeah, going down the alley in between those complexes.
To another narrow one-way street.
Oh, and he's going to come, right in front of that driver.
He's using that alleyway to get away from here.
The fact he has a passenger who's no doubt, yelling out, I'm just guessing, directions at the driver, and as they're desperate, trying to flee. No, disregard for everyone out there, every single driver at this hour.
Every one of those intersections he just blew through. He didn't even tap the brakes for a second. So there could have been traffic coming in the opposite direction there, and there could have been a major collision there. And here we are. He's hitting, look, a bicyclist right there. So dangerous. So new information coming to us at our desk here, a stolen U-Haul truck. Suspects wanted for petty theft and now evading police here in the Belmont Shore area.
And Des, really quick, I know he's making a lot of turns here. They're making a lot of turns. If we get a chance to look at the passenger again on this, we're hearing kind of some information about that passenger, and I just want to see if you're able to get ahead of it, to get eyes on them. I know it's kind of difficult when they're moving around like that, but if we can, that'd be great as we make these kind of wide turns through these narrow streets.
Just so crazy here. This is probably the best view I can give you here at the moment. We're just really kind of restricted right now with Long Beach's how hectic the tower is right now, controlling all the helicopters, in addition to all the traffic they were dealing with right now. We'll have to stay on this side of it right now unless they end up coming back towards us. But zigzagging all over the place here.
Yikes.
Where are these streets going? Is this mindless or is this the plan? Okay, pulling over now.
Are they going to jump over the fence here? Something's going,
Let's hope so. Let's hope that they get out. And indeed, we got there's one
suspect.
Here is there's the passenger right there.
With bags of stuff.
So they've got a bunch of in their hands there. Look like clothing or something. So here's the driver, just went here into the parking lot, and the suspect disappearing here underneath the awning.
No ground units behind him.
At Marina Park Lane in Belmont. And, well, I can see the driver right now, so we'll stick with the driver as the passenger went underneath that housing development right there, but got out very casually here, now just kind of walking around like they belong here, like nothing to see here right now underneath some trees.
He's well dressed, too.
We'll try to get, try to get out from beneath that tree right there. CHP, though, here you see their helicopter right there, and so they are privy to this, but it's tough for them now to keep eyes on both of these suspects as well. But we saw that the passenger, which you were talking about there, Mike, had their hands full of something. Now here comes Los Alamitos PD. We'll see if we can get around this tree to the east side of it here. Los Alamitos PD, we saw that the suspect was underneath this tree right here, but indeed that passenger, they definitely had a lot of stuff in their hands.
And he was making sure to grab it out of the passenger side. He
took his time.
Already on the ground. There's the driver on the sidewalk, Des, already on the ground.
Oh.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so the driver definitely giving up, and wow, just my heart is racing from watching all of that earlier, and incredible that did not end badly for some innocent people. So not sure what the plan was here, but now the driver's being taken into custody, so that's the good news. Now what about the suspicious passenger that had all that stuff in their hands? Was that the alleged stolen goods that they were carrying? They were down in this neighborhood.
That's
right
them
here.
Right there.
There they are.
Oh my
that's them right here.
goodness.
Just walking
kind of walking around. Yeah, just again, kind of trying to blend in. Marina Park and Appian Way is where this suspect here now looks like hiking up their pants. We'll see if the authorities move in here.
What's interesting, Jasmine was mentioning earlier, were these two people maybe living out of the van or whatnot. We know now the van is stolen, but you can see this one person that we're looking at here looks like bags wrapped around his belt.
Which is always fascinating to me. Like the jig is up, the pursuit's over, but they're still going to get whatever they can and still try to make a run for it.
Very casual.
Even after all of that.
Not even phased. Well, I wonder if he's...
It looks like he may be walking with a little bit of a limp there, too. I don't know that he can actually...
Is he on the phone?
Get away.
He's on the
maybe
phone
calling
now.
somebody
Like
trying to get a ride.
Yeah.
Looks like he's on the phone. Who knows what state of mind they're in,
Right,
too,
I was
right?
gonna
Which
say.
could be a problem. They could be having some sort of issue there. But
And who knows if they even knew each other? If it was a crime of opportunity, they both ran in. Who knows? Into
Mike,
whatever
obviously,
business.
we're over it. We know where this person is walking. He's not making a big effort to get away.
No.
Does law enforcement?
Yeah, they're right there.
Oh, there
So
they are.
they're just pulling up. CHP's, that airship is still overhead. As soon as those officers had eyes, that's Long Beach PD now.
Let's see if
That
they
was
try
not
running
involved
away.
in this at all, but now they are because obviously what happened here. But all right, well.
Are they trying to get ahead of him, maybe?
No, I see. That's the thing. When you get this, you're in a different city. Long Beach PD was never involved in this. They don't probably have a good description of the suspect. So, you know,
Appian Way.
I'm sure that CHP helicopter just watched that though, and will either try to redirect them or get Los Alamitos back over here. But again, as you mentioned, not making a real effort to get away at all, or hide, or really do anything. Just kind of hanging out on the phone with his stuff there, and just sitting in the crosswalk.
Glasses on.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
On the phone, glasses on.
With like what looks like a woman's purse.
Wearing
I mean,
lots of clothes, yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, he's trying to call somebody else there and using the crosswalk, right, to cross the street there on Appian Way in Belmont Park. We do know that one driver, he's now in custody. Right there is at Rogers Middle School, right by the middle school there.
Belmont.
Yeah, in Belmont Park
Des,
area.
do we see any law enforcement moving in here?
Des, what do you see?
Well, since he's going,
There we are.
Oh, there we go. Okay,
Here
okay.
comes the takedown.
I knew they
Just
had eyes.
walking
If we
up
had
to
eyes.
Oh,
Did
what?
you see him kind of
me? What?
flinch?
No.
No. Wow. Well, I'm glad we could be kind of lighthearted about the ending here after the way that this pursuit was going earlier, but now being taken into custody. I can't remember the last time I saw an officer be able to just kind of casually stroll up to a suspect to take them into custody. But 2 in custody, petty theft, insane chase, miracle, didn't end in any crashes, and right here in front of this middle school here, Rogers Middle School on the Belmont Shore.
A couple of fender benders that we think might have happened, and we do know, Desmond, it looks like nobody was hurt, so that is a good thing. So are we calling this a code 4, Mike?
Yeah, at this point, we got both suspects in custody. Des, I assume they're clearing the U-Haul at this point. I don't know if they've found anything out of it, but you know, you had 2 suspects. They're both in custody right now, so at least that portion of it is over.
Is that right, Des?
Yeah, that's right. We believe just the 2 people in the car. We'll see if we can get a look at the back of the U-Haul if they have that open right now. But boy, that could have ended much, much worse.
All righty, let us know what happens out there on the scene there, Desmond. Thank you so much. Mike Rogers, thank you as well. We're going to move on here with more news.